received the support of 55
Looks like my
of my
screen kind of got
Republican
lost
colleagues
there for a second. Sorry,
right
guys.
here on the House
Missing good
floor
stuff too.
in 2019. So
I'll do a small edit of
passed
this
it with
session.
the support, a bipartisan support
So
with my
we can get,
Republican
like, the highlights of
colleagues,
this, 'cause this gets
many of
pretty
whom
drawn out
sits
for a
on this
while,
very
so
committee.
let's see how it goes. But
So given the attempts
this
by
is good stuff.
Governor DeSantis
I will
and
post
others to curtail
this,
DEI
here on
efforts
YouTube.
in
I'll just
academia
pull
and
cuts
corporate
of this
America,
session.
I have two questions related to your human capital rulemaking work. Is the SEC considering how state-level efforts to hamper DEI-related programs could make it harder for companies to comply with more robust human capital disclosures, which we expect from the SEC?
We consider the law, the federal law, but certainly if you have things, and we maybe have staff follow up, if there's something at the state level that you want to flag for us and help us sort through in terms of any of our rulemaking, but particularly with regard to human capital management. But we try to do our best to stay within the law and how the courts interpret our laws.
Yeah, so, what I'm concerned about are there things that the SEC can do in your human capital rulemaking so that you can shield public companies looking to do the right thing with respect to DEI and disclosure from state-based legal challenges, or at least will the SEC seek public comments on this question?
Well, in all of our rulemaking, we seek public comment on our authorities because we want to, of course, stay within our authorities, but our disclosure-based authorities, again, we're merit neutral, and that's because Congress chose that we needed to stay that. But it's the disclosures for investors to best understand the companies they're investing in as it relates to human capital, that they could best understand that most important asset of the company.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that's good policy. That's why it should be bipartisan. And that's why it has been bipartisan previously. So I'm just hoping that states, like what's happening in Florida, doesn't occur or affect what you're trying to do on an equitable basis, just giving investors the information they know. Let me do real quickly. I see I'm running out of time. I know people I want to touch on crypto regulation. As you are aware, our regulator in New York, the New York Department of Financial Services, has created a first-in-class bit licensing regime for virtual currency businesses, which we are very proud of. What I'm afraid of, some are saying that they may take businesses throughout this country abroad and get regulated someplace else. What say you on that?
I say if they're complying with the laws and doing the right by investors, they can be here, but if they're not complying with the laws, investors will get harmed.
I'm out of time.
The gentleman from West Virginia, Mr. Mooney, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Securities and Exchange Commission may be the agency that most directly threatens the livelihoods of West Virginians today. I never imagined I would say that because American presidents are not supposed to so brazenly weaponize the SEC to push through radical climate change policies that they're unable to pass through Congress. When the Obama-Biden war on fossil fuels was first launched in 2009, coal mining gainfully employed nearly 28,000 West Virginians. Today that number has shrunk to 14,000, a 50% decrease. And the SEC has proposed a crippling climate disclosure rule to mandate all sorts of detailed emissions data for public companies and many non-public companies. The SEC already requires the disclosure of material information to its investors, so let's not kid ourselves and say it's about materiality. SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce put it best when she stated, quote, although styled as a disclosure rule, the goal of this proposal is to direct capital to favored businesses and to advance favored political and social goals. In other words, it's about naming and shaming fossil fuel companies. Some estimates suggest this disclosure rule could cost companies over $100 million to comply. So, Chair Gensler, the SEC inspector General issued a scathing report saying you were rushing through rules without adequately considering the costs. So can you tell me today how many jobs this climate disclosure rule will cost West Virginia families?
Again, sir, we're not a climate regulator, and we're merit neutral. This is about companies are already making disclosures and trying to bring some consistency to that disclosure. That's what it's about. It is, with all respect, not about something further than that. And in terms of the economics, it's really about ensuring that investors get the benefit of those disclosures. And if they want to go long West Virginia coal, they have the right information to long means to purchase companies that public companies, and it's only about public companies. Again.
Well, thank you. Despite your assurances, I think it's clear this rule will be devastating to my state of West Virginia. I'd like to submit for the record, Madam Chair, the Inspector General's statement on the SEC's management and performance challenges. Madam Chair, I'd like to submit for the record the Inspector General's statements on the SEC management and performance challenges.
So ordered.
And I would also like to
Without objection.
submit, thank you. I'd also like to submit for the record an op-ed I wrote for the Washington Times on the SEC's climate disclosure rule.
Riveting. Without objection.
Thank you. I do have a couple more questions. Chair Gensler, how many climate change
I'm gonna
how many
go ahead and
climate
leave, guys.
scientists
I'm gonna
does
make
the
an edit.
SEC employ?
For this
We
session,
employ
so it's quicker and shorter.
economists
Because this could go on
that are
forever,
more
like maybe a
general
few
economists.
hours.
So